little bit. So I have a statement with some entities' words, and I can do some operations on these. I can copy a word. I can say that word like copy after itself. In fact, that pair of words I'd like to copy after itself, and I can just do this as a file. So I tell the machine, all right, output to a file. And it says, well, I need a name. I'll give it a name. I'll say it's sample file. And I'll say, please output it. It says it did. And then it comes back automatically. This is one aspect of what we'll use over and over again through this presentation, what we call view control, where no matter where in the file we're looking, we can ask it to use any one of a large number of parameters for constructing a view at that point in the file that best suits our need at the time. This one wants us to give an overview of the thing. So I'll say, well, I have this. I don't want them all to be statement 1, so I'll just replace the word there with a 2. And how about that one with a 3? It's just a place to forget how to count. You can tell that I have not warmed up yet. I hope you can tell. Right? All right. So I can get it lined up, and I can say, for instance, other entities like an invisible string. I don't know whether that's tabs or characters in there. And it'll come back in as it was. I last saved it, telling me the date that I wrote it. And unfortunately, I didn't save enough. Well, I'm through with this example right now. Let me go to a file that I prepared. Call me back when you're ready to go shopping, and I'll tell you the rest of the things. So let me jump back to the head of the list, and I can do things like begin to reorganize it a little bit. Well, I say after bananas, it's more likely that I'll take the carrots there and pointing to that and having it bring to the top, or jumping return back. I can say I jump to a name and say go to 2A4. And it'll do it. Here, I'm afraid I'll need a different picture of the view. So here's what I drew with a picture drawing capability here. It's a slight map if I start from work, and here's the route I seem to have to go to pick up all the materials. And that's my plan for getting home tonight. But if I want to, I can say, the library, what am I supposed to pick up there? I can just point to that, and oh, I see, overdue books and all. Well, there was a statement there with that name on it. Go back. What am I supposed to pick up at the drugstore? I see, very interesting. All right. Mark it? Oh, I've already seen that. Why do it smell like that? Gee, that's too much. Anyway, so we have this feature of structuring our material hierarchically, being able to move around it very well. When we get a hierarchy, such as I can show you here now, a link. And a link is something that'll go between files. So what it's going to do, it says, I'm going to go to your file name as CNRO. And the link also says where in that file and just what view it wants. So when I do like that, I'm in the middle of that other file looking at this particular material that's been carved out by the specifications on that link. And this is the staffing over the years from 1950 on, and it's had slightly bumpy history. During these years, there was only one of us. And they're not all standard. We have a pointing device called our mouse, a standard keyboard, and a special key set we have here. And we're going to go for a picture down in our laboratory in Menlo Park and pipe it up that'll show you from another point of view more about how that mouse works. Come in, Menlo Park. Okay, there's Don Andrews' hand in Menlo Park. And in a second we'll see the screen that he's working and the way the tracking spot moves in conjunction with movements of that mouse. I don't know why we call it a mouse. Sometimes I apologize. It started that way and we never did change it. The keyboard in the middle is essentially a standard typewriter keyboard except for a few special keys out on the side. The computer knows it instantly when you hit one and makes an appropriate response. This device over here is unique to us, and we always have to justify and explain it. We'll do it in reverse order. We'll explain it first. It provides for you the one-hand equivalent of what you can do with a keyboard. There are 5 keys, and normally each finger sits on a key, And depressing any one key at a time produces a character. And any two keys at a time also. And in fact, any combination of depressing, of which there are 31 combinations. So Don soon learns and can type the message.
Two major kinds of code in it. First one is many of these different special languages that we've built up. See, I'm trying to find QMW. That's right. It's down here someplace. There we go. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's the two kinds of code. This is still the kind from the other file, but the QMW routine, the first subroutine, the second subroutine that it calls, which is sort of interesting, is move word, or word delimiter, I'm sorry. This routine is written in our content analysis language, and it takes a text string and finds the definition of a word. It looks out for punctuation, and it finds any special blanks around it, and finds pointers that describe that word. Another interesting one is the next subroutine here. If we look at it, it's in another special language that we've built up. It takes the pointers left over from the delimiter routine and the text in the file and reconstructs the statement after the edit's been done. Let's see. Where was I in this file? The other portion of the file is written in the language that we call MOL. It stands for Machine-Oriented Language. The MOL is in a sense, it's a high-level language in that it has phrase structure and good control constructs like if statements and while statements, but it's also very, very close to machine language, 940 machine language. People?
That is really a very important one. Now, you've seen most of the way through here how this serves as a very powerful tool for an individual to work when he's studying, doing his planning, designing, debugging, documenting. But we also saw through the medium of leaving messages for each other and filtering them that people can collaborate quite well over a period of time by working on joint files. In fact, you can have a joint file and go leave a message and get a response in a matter of minutes because they're all available instantly by anybody from one of these terminals. But there's another degree of collaboration which is very important and which we're just going to be setting up in the next few months the hardware to do computer aid. But here we're going to set it up with a little bit of people aid too. So I'm going to establish a collaborative mode between me and another terminal. Bill Paxton is at a terminal back at SRI, and the first thing I do to do that, of course, would be say, hey, I'm going to, to call this command, we have to go into the executive mode and set executivity to a special level. Oops. And then continue with NLS. So that free demonstration of some of the versatility. All right, special command. I'd like to link to Bill, and I don't know what his terminal is right now, so I have to ask for somebody to connect me to him audibly. So Bill, will you come in through this intercom?
Hello, Doug.
Hi. I need to know what terminal you're on, Bill.
13.
Okay. I'd like to have him see my text. And so this special thing, if I label 13, will switch over. So in his display, he sees my text. So I'll execute it. And sure enough, it does. But what's that running around? Well, if he's looking at my text, he'd like to have something to say about it. So we put on a marker, a tracking spot that he controls. So he's sitting there in Menlo Park looking at this text, and he can point to it. But we've carefully reserved for me the right to control and operate on this. So my bug is more powerful than yours. But we can have an argument. Yeah. That's what they call a bug fight. So, all right. So in case you haven't been listening, Bill, we've been going through lots of examples and setting up in collaboration here so that we can go on into information retrieval. And we've set up now audio coupling, and then we're both looking at the same display, and that'd be very handy to work. We can talk to each other and point, and maybe later I could hand you the chalk on this blackboard, like saying, here, you control it. But let's stay this mode now, and add another feature that hardware-wise is available to the kind of display we have. I'd like to see you while I'm working on it. So before I can do that, I'd have to set up my display in a certain way. Set it up so I see it over like that. That leaves a corner up there, and I say, now computer, do the automatic switching that'll bring in a camera picture from the camera mounted on his console, such as the camera mounted on mine is. Hi, Bill. The range of activities underneath in our program. And a forthcoming involvement is this ARPA computer network, the experimental network that's going to come into being in its first form in about a year and end up sometime later with some 20 experimental computers in a network. And they hope to be able to transmit across the country with bandwidths of something like 20 kilobits per second, delay times of less than 1/10 of a second, which would be enough so that I could be running a system in Cambridge over the network and getting the same kind of response on a CRT. And it may be that people there, the next time we have a conference in Boston, I'll try this from there. And in that network, we're going to try to develop a special service to provide network information, relevant network information for people, for the kind of information that it takes to operate such a network. Who's got what services, what protocol do I use to get there, who's up to date, how much, where's the user's guide, where can I find the paper that describes this system that so-and-so offers. And that's going to be a very interesting challenge for us to utilize our tools for organizing and retrieving information. And the last thing here is just a little comment about, after all of this, what's the product that we're providing in this research? Well, we're providing a sample augmentation system, the one we use. And not only that, it's an augmentation system that's provided to augment computer system development. And beyond that, we also are hoping that we're developing quite a few design principles for developing augmentation systems.